In Libya, a stark new reality is coming into sharper focus with each passing day in the decimated city of Derna. Nearly 4,000 people were killed in catastrophic flooding there last week, and rescuers are still struggling to find bodies. Thousands more remain unaccounted for. Angry residents demanding accountability took to the streets Monday, accusing local officials of mismanagement and neglect. The ordeal has left some flood victims distraught.
After this crisis, I began saying, I wish I was taken by the floods. Those who passed away are relieved now. They may be in paradise. Those who survived are still suffering. God only knows what other things we will suffer from.
Well, the storm that inundated the Libyan coast is just the latest example of extreme weather happening right across the planet. And a new report reveals it didn't have to be this bad. A team of scientists found that rainfall that caused the horrific flooding in Derna was made 50 times more likely and 50 times worse by climate change. They also found the man-made climate crisis led to more extreme rain in other parts of the Mediterranean as well. Well, for more on all of this, I want to welcome our Bill Wier, who joins us now from New York. Good to see you, Bill.
Hi, Lynda.
So it's interesting seeing the people in Derna protesting against government inaction, both in terms of preparation for this weather event and the response to it post, but also climate change is being blamed as well in this new study. What did they find?
Well, the World Weather Attribution Group, this is a dozen or more scientists around the world, several countries, and they basically compare the conditions of today, these off-the-charts, record-shattering temperatures we're seeing, marine heat waves, to life on Earth before fossil fuels heated us up at 1.2 degrees Celsius. And as you mentioned there, they find that this Storm Daniel, a Mediterranean hurricane, a metacane, basically is a 1 in every 300 to 600 year event. But much the way, if you load the dice in a craps game, you're going to get the higher numbers more and more often. The loaded heat in the Mediterranean means that Storm Daniel is 50 times more likely in the current conditions, the new Earth that we live on now. And that because warmer sky holds more moisture, the rains are 50% more intense there. And so it's deadly in places from Greece and Bulgaria and Spain. It took lives there. But in a place like Libya, which has years of conflict, crumbling infrastructure, bad construction in floodplains, no emergency warning system or response, and you have fatalities in the thousands. It could be the deadliest, one of the deadliest modern disasters because that perfect storm, supercharged by climate, hits a place so vulnerable at every level.
And as you mentioned, Bill, it wasn't just Libya that came up in this report. It was also Greece, Turkey, Bulgaria. The report finding that the flooding, the extreme rain that hit those countries was also 10 times more likely. Can you break down for us how these scientists came up with these figures, how they came up with this data?
Well, we have the long sort of historical record of life before climate change, where you have an average between the glacial periods there as well. And now just with the 1.2 added on top of that, and regionally, there's not a lot of granular data as to what the Mediterranean specifically was like thousands of years ago. But if you take those averages and put them up against what we've been experiencing, and then run the models, and you see that the storms just get more and more intense as well. And yes, as you said, it was 10 times more likely in that part of the area that hit Greece and Spain there as well. Spain, they're even less. They're more hesitant to ascribe a number, an attribution number on it because the data set was so small regionally there. But this whole experience is a wake up for the rest of the world and folks to say, are we strong enough to weather these new kind of disasters that our grandparents didn't ever experience?
Yeah, and as the U.S. president said just in the last couple of hours at the UN, Libya certainly is an example of what's to come without action on climate change. Bill Wier for us in New York. Thanks so much.
You bet.
Well, still to come, the power vacuum left behind when Yevgeny Prigozhin died. A CNN investigation looks into Russia's influence in the most volatile parts of Africa. And later, Spain's national football team is a mess. A coach accused of lying and players who don't want to play. We'll have the details when we come back.